Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to Dr. Shumpe, my friend Arif, and everyone that watching this video. So here is my assignment 5 with a title Application of Microbiology in Bioremediation or Sewage Treatment and Application of Microbiology as Oil Degrading Microorganism. Bioremediation is a biological mechanism of recycling waste into another form that can use and reused by other organisms. And nowadays, the world is facing the problem of different environmental pollution. And microorganisms are essential for a key alternative solution to overcome challenge. And microorganisms are survive in all places on the biosphere because of their metabolic activity is astonishing and then came into existence in all over range of environmental condition. The nutritional capacity of microorganism is completely variety, so it is used as bioremediation of environmental pollution. And bioremediation is highly involved in degradation, eradication, immobilization, or detoxification, diverse chemical waste, and physical hazardous material from the surrounding through the all-inclusive and action of microorganism. Bioremediation is a branch of biotechnology that employ the use of living organisms like microbe and bacteria in the removal of contaminant, pollution, and toxin from soil, water, and other environment. And bioremediation may be used to clean up contaminated groundwater or environmental problems such as oil spill. Bioremediation is used to clean up oil spill or contaminate groundwater, and it may be done in situ, which means at the site of the contamination, or ex situ, which means away from the site. How bioremediation works? Bioremediation relies on stimulating the growth of certain microbes that utilize contaminants like oil, solvent, and pesticide for sources of food and energy. These microbes convert contaminant into small amount of water as well as harmless gases like carbon dioxide. Next, bioremediation require a combination of the right temperature, nutrient, and food. The absence of this element may prolong the cleanup of contaminant. Conditions that are unfavorable for bioremediation may be improved by adding amendment to the environment, such as molasses, vegetable oil, or simple air. This amendment optimize condition for microbe to flourish, thereby accelerating the completion of the bioremediation process. And bioremediation can either be done in situ, which is at the site of the contamination itself, or ex situ, which is a location away from the site. And ex situ bioremediation may be necessary if the climate is too cold to sustain microbe activity, or if the soil is too dense for nutrient to distribute evenly. The bioremediation process may take anywhere from several months to several years to complete, depending on variables such as the size of the contaminated area, the concentration of contaminant, temperature, soil density, and whether bioremediation will occur in situ or ex situ. The form of in situ bioremediation is from bioventing, in situ biodegradation, biosparging, bioaugmentation, biostimulation, and natural attenuation or intrinsic of bioremediation. While the form of ex situ bioremediation is uh, land farming, composting, biofile, and bioreactor. There are several advantages of bioremediation. Bioremediation offers numerous advantages over other cleanup methods by relying on natural process. It minimizes damage to ecosystem. And bioremediation often take place underground, where amendment and microbe can be pumped in order to clean up contaminant in groundwater and soil. Consequently, bioremediation does not disrupt nearby community as much as other cleanup methodology. Next is the bioremediation process create relatively few harmful byproduct, which is mainly due to the fact that contaminant and pollutant are converted into water and harmless gases like carbon dioxide. And finally, bioremediation is cheaper than most cleanup method because it does not require substantial equipment or any laboratory method. The question is, can the problem of water pollution can be checked by letting loose sewage eating microbe? And the answer is yes. And the technology that offer this hope because bioremediation, it doesn't cost the earth. In simple terms, bioremediation is a system of sewage treatment where microbes are used to degrade flowing sewage into carbon dioxide and water. The process also reduces the stench from raw sewage. How microbe can clean up the polluted water? Okay, the microbe simply eat up contaminant such as oil and organic matter, which is waste food, and then it convert them and then let off the carbon dioxide and water. The process uses naturally occurring bacteria, fungi, or plants to degrade substances that are hazardous to human health or the environment. Bioremediation technology includes phytoremediation, which is interaction with plants, and rhizoremediation, which is the interaction between plant and microbe. And at present, the process is used to check contamination in soil, groundwater, and surface water. The system does not require any construction or any major modification of drain or division of flow because it takes place in open drain without displacement of sewage. And the process also does not require any additional land or power because it is making it a simple and easy system. It is cheaper than conventional treatment method, easy to handle, and importantly, it does not require skilled manpower. Okay. Under the process, bacteria are cultured in bulk and applied to the flowing sewage. Then the microbes are activated and then they multiply with or without oxygen and food available in the form of organic matter present in sewage. And sometimes enzymes are also added to active the microbe. And however, bioremediation can be effective only in places where environmental conditions permit microbial growth and activity. Where the conditions are not favorable for their growth, manipulation of environmental parameter is carried out to allow microbial growth and allow degradation at a faster rate. These microbes consume the organic mass of the wastewater and utilize the nutrient from sewage for their growth, ultimately enhancing the cleaning action of wastewater. The treatment can restore water quality and increase the self-cleansing capacity of the water body. The process also helps reduce biochemical oxygen demand (BOD) in sewage and reduce odor. Wastewater often contain organic material that are decomposed by microorganisms which use oxygen in the process, and biochemical oxygen demand is the amount of oxygen that is used by such organisms in breaking down the waste matter. The example of activity that pollute our system water, such as oil spill and heavy metal. Here are some of lists and table for the um, responsible microorganism towards their own specific compound because different contaminant apply different microbe. And this is some of my research that helped me to gain more knowledge and information towards this title of bioremediation. Okay, next is application of microbe as oil degrading microorganism. Okay, oil degradation is a general term used to describe the destructive mechanism that cause physical and chemical changes to compressor fluid while in service. Oil degradation result in deterioration in fluid performance and a dramatic reduction in fluid service life. And if ignored, oil degradation will progress and can lead to failure. What microbe that responsible in this topic? So there are species of marine bacteria in several family, including Marinobacter, Oceanospiralis, Pseudomonas, and Alcanivorex that can eat compound from petroleum as part of their diet. In fact, there are at least 7 species of bacteria that can survive solely on oil, and these bacteria are natural way of removing oil that end up in the ocean, whether the oil is there because of oil spill or natural oil seeps. So those of us in the oil spill response community call this biological process of removing oil biodegradation. And there are some of factors that microbe need in order to biodegrade the oil. The first is physical nature of the oil. If the oil is in a single large slick, there is less surface area for the microbe to gain access to the oil, so degradation is slower. Furthermore, if the oil is heavy and viscous, the biodegradable component must first diffuse through that thick matrix to the oil-water interface so that the microbe can access them. So the conclusion is the lighter the oil, the faster the diffusion, making the biodegradable compound more available to the microbe. The second is chemical nature of the oil. Biodegradation rate vary depending on the particular hydrocarbon that make up the spilled oil. Oil is composed of thousands of different compounds. Some may be preferred food source and be consumed very quickly. Others are degraded more slowly or not at all. And in a marine environment, hydrocarbon in which carbon are arranged in an unbranched chain that can degrade quickly in a matter of day or week. Hydrocarbon that have a branch structure or those in which the carbon are arranged in multiple ring, which is known as polycyclic aromatic compound, can be far more difficult to biodegrade and therefore persist longer. Next is the availability of nutrient. Like all living organism, microbes have many nutrient requirements, including nitrogen, phosphate, and other nutrients. And these substances are found in nature but may be present in limiting quantity when food levels are high, for example, after an oil spill, and the microbe can only degrade the hydrocarbon as fast as the availability of other nutrients allow. And if nitrogen and phosphate level are very low, biodegradation of oil constituent will take place slowly. And the next is availability of oxygen. The enzymatic process of breaking down oil is usually most rapid in the presence of oxygen, but theory given enough oil and other nutrients, microbial population could grow so quickly that they exhausted the oxygen from the water in the vicinity of an oil spill. And in practice, oxygen has not proven to be as important a limiting factor as nutrient in restricting oil degradation in the ocean, although degradation rate could be slow if a spill occurs in a location where oxygen levels are low. And the fifth is water temperature. Generally, oil is degraded more quickly in warmer water, and the problem is not that microbe cannot live in cold water. Plenty of oil degrading microbes are fully adapted to life at cold temperature, but oil metabolism proceed more slowly in those habitat for the same reason that make spoil more slowly in a refrigerator than on the kitchen counter. However, in environment that are always cold, as example in the Arctic or deep ocean, cold living microbes have adapted so that they can degrade oil as quickly as warm water. Adapted microbes do in their normal habitat, but colder temperature also have physical effect on the speed of degradation, which is oil evaporate more slowly, so there is more oil left in the water for the microbe to degrade, and the oil is also more viscous, so it spread out and disperse less readily, which providing less surface area for the microbe to access. Next is pressure. The deep horizon oil spill release oil at a depth of over 1,500 meter, where the temperature is low and the pressure is high. So this condition where degradation might have been expected to be quite slow. However, early results show a high number of oil degrading microbial species adapt to life even in this extreme condition. Okay, the next is pH and salinity. In most of the ocean, pH and salinity do not vary enough to make a big difference in oil degradation rate. Some specific environment like salt marsh sediment exhibit not only high salinity but also rapid fluctuation in salinity, oxygen, and pH, which is all characteristic that typically slow oil degradation. And last but not least, the factor is other microbe, which is natural microbial community are diverse with many different type of microbe that both compete and cooperate. So the complex interaction that characterize healthy natural microbial community are only beginning to be understood, but independence in is the norm. So this is one of the reason why adding microbe to oil spill in the hope of speeding degradation is challenging, which is artificially introduced microbes have a hard time breaking into the existing community structure and competing with the local species that have evolved together over the millennia in a particular habitat. And this is some of my research in helping my study to get more information and knowledge about the application of microbe as oil degrading microorganism. And that's all from me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening and watching. Thank you.